All right, fellas, man, we are here, man, for the very first episode of Men Amongst Men. I have an amazing collection of good brothers, good mentors, good fathers, good men, man, just good black men in our community.
And my name is Robert McNair. I'm from a small town, Plymouth, North Carolina. 252. Been living in Greensboro since 1997. I am an Aggie alum.
Aggie Pride.
2 times, Aggie Pride. There you go. Working higher education. I've been working at North Carolina A&T since 2002. I'm just happy to be here, man. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to, number one, come on this platform and talk about, I think, a much-needed topic that we need to engage and really discuss and harp on. So anyway, thanks, Zay, for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Antonio Hall, originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, by way of Greensboro, North Carolina. Been here since 3rd grade, 9 years old, so I'm basically from here. Head football coach in Northeast Guilford, been in the school system, Guilford County Schools, for about 13, 14 years. Just excited to be here. This is definitely an awesome platform for us to be able to communicate and talk about things that we have and we face in the culture.
And I'm Travis Moore from Greensboro, North Carolina, born and raised. Done some traveling. I'm here at home. I'm too in the school system. I work in the middle school. I coach track. I've been in front of the camera, behind the camera, as far as acting and modeling. And I too believe that we actually need to talk. We've been saying it for years, and now we're here. So good platform. We appreciate it.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy BigPlayZay, and I want to give a huge shout out to our amazing sponsor over at Master Cut Barbershop, located at 1000 Westside Drive, Greensboro, North Carolina. If you're looking for more than just a fresh cut, this is the spot. You'll get top-tier service from master barbers who know how to keep the conversation flowing just as smooth as their fades. From life talk to sports talk, every visit is an experience. Pull up and sit back and leave sharper than you came in. Thank you, Master Cut, for keeping the culture crispy.
Appreciate y'all, man. Just kind of throwing it out there, man. Get the juices going, man. Hey, man, how was y'all Father's Day?
Father's Day was good. Father's Day was good. I was sharing with the guys before that I have 2 daughters. So for me, when they celebrate me, man, I kind of get emotional because they get me with the cards, man. I had a moment to relax and take a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Father's Day is one of those holidays that's not celebrated a lot. You know, Mother's Day, they roll out the red carpet for mom.
Man,
what?
You know, Father's Day, the boys were like, hey, Dad, happy Father's Day. Let's go and get on their video games and stuff.
Right.
But I did get much needed rest with a lot going on with rebuilding the program. It just gave me an opportunity to be able to sit down and like, hey, y'all get out my way. I went and played a little bit golf at Bryant Park and then came home and rested for the rest of the day.
Good stuff.
That's real. Well, yeah, man, Father's Day was good for me, man. I'm always a little weary of Father's Day because we don't get the love like Mother's Day. I got a big go to corral joke, but I'll say that for later. but anyway, man, but Father's Day was a little different for me. My wife recently had a medical scare where she suffered like a minor stroke. And so we've been rehabbing and getting her back up to strength. And I've been kind of doing the woodwork. I had to kind of step in and be super dad and super husband. But again, I was happy for Father's Day. It was a little emotional for me because I had my family together, and not just together. We were all intact because she's been very progressive, man. And they did some things outside of me, and it didn't stop her from ordering some things for me and having Amazon trouble, even though I'm used to that all the time anyway. But man, Father's Day was really special for me, and I think this is one of those Father's Days I'm not going to forget.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. You built for it, champ.
Yeah,
I had a really good Father's Day myself, man. I can't leave them out. My little lady took care of me and the family and the kids, man. They looked out for me. Kids got me some toys. I'm a big kid. My son got me a little Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. It was really meaningful that they were paying attention to what I was saying. And I tried to run the list up this year. And they actually tried their best, man. They tried their full service to try and make sure I had a good Father's Day, man. Good. So I appreciate that, though. But how do y'all fellas feel about Father's Day being so close to Juneteenth?
What I will say is, my wife's birthday is on June 19th, so her birthday's on June 10th.
Oh, good
so
Lord.
it's got June
right into it.
Birthday and Father's Day on the same weekend, the same day. So it's like, I'm fighting that battle as is. Yeah. But I definitely think we got to reconvene and move some things around to be able to celebrate and get its own due diligence.
Yeah, my daughter, my youngest, her birthday is June 18th, so it's like always right there. I think it could use some space, a moment to serve its purpose by itself. You know, if we could do that.
Yeah. Look, my daughter's birthday is June 8th.
See, look at this.
Listen, everything is together. So you got my daughter's birthday, then it's Father's Day, then you got Juneteenth, and whatever Father's Day land, right? But I don't really think much of it, man. I'm just, number one, I'm very happy to be celebrating Juneteenth, and I'm glad that it's really been getting the recognition and notoriety that it's been getting. But you're right, it is a little close. So yeah.
Well, I'm trying to pitching it out, man. Here on Men Amongst Men, we're trying to put in a pension. I move that we move Father's Day to the opening kickoff for the NFL season.
All right, I second that motion.
I'm ready to sign. I'm ready to sign that petition. That's a good one.
Right there. Hold on.
Yeah.
NFL kickoff, wherever it falls on, that's where we need to move Father's Day to.
Let me see who I got in this. Let me see. I know somebody in the Senate.
Somebody
Put
knows
the call
something.
in.
Let me see who I
Put
know.
the call in, man.
Yeah, man.
You get that into the right ears.
Yeah. But y'all, I'm super excited about this show, man. This show is really highlighting the black father, the black man, just talking about our first perception of the black man versus the black father. All right. First question up, man. How are black husbands and fathers perceived in our community and media? Start y'all, Rob. What you got for me?
Yeah, that's kind of a catch-22, man. It can kind of go. I can see it both ways. I'm gonna talk about kind of the media perspective a little bit. I think from the media perspective, they don't really expect to see the black husband and the black father in those, wives and children lives a lot. And I think a lot of times when they are, and we have examples of that with LeVar Ball, and then also Deion Sanders, that it's almost frowned upon, right? And I'm like, man, what's going on? And in the community sense part of it, I think it's more of a socioeconomic thing, right? I think if you look in the middle and the upper class, I think it's an expectation that the father and the husband is there based on socioeconomics. And I think when you look at the low economic, homes, it's almost an expectation that the husband and father isn't there. You go into, some of those homes and some of those areas in the neighborhood, and when you see a female out, with her kids, you don't even register to your head to be like, where's the father? It's almost like, oh, I know she's a single mom. And I'm gonna give you the take. It's almost like going to Food Lion and Harris Teeter. When you go to Food Lion and you don't, when you walk in the Food Lion and you see a female with her kids, it's an expectation that she's probably alone. But when you go to Harris Teeter and you'll see a family together in Harris Teeter, because it's Harris Teeter, oh, that looks like a really nice family. So
Home mom, huh? She
yeah,
let her kill.
yeah, for real.
The father's on aisle 7. He's somewhere around here.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real.
Yeah. I think for me, I think that the media and social media has killed what the black man could be from the eyes of certain people. So that's doing this today is something that could really help spin it and be a positive thing. Traditionally, we were taught that black men aren't there, they're not there. They don't show up. They're probably in the streets, or they're just dismissive of their responsibilities. And being that we're fathers and men ourselves, we can't attest to that. And maybe our stories are different, but we're here today to show that we are those faces. We're the ones that are showing up. So you find yourself, and I'm sure you guys have experienced it, when people are looking at you like, why are you here? We kind of, it's on the overdrive. You want to be there for everything for your kids. You want to show up constantly so they have those moments. And it's to kind of delete that narrative because it doesn't apply to us right now, And so we become those mentors to the mentees so that we set that expectation.
Right.
Yep.
For sure. And I agree with both. I think in the media, it's the perception, and they perpetuate the absence of black men in the household. And when you start talking about lower economic neighborhoods, it's kind of a system thing, in my opinion. And you know, somebody's done some research about it.
Yeah.
Where you go to Section 8 homes, and one of the stipulations in the home is there's not to be another male figure in the home in order for you to get free assistance and all of this. So that's the byproduct of everything that kind of trickles down to crime and trickles down to misleaded youth. You know what I mean? So I can go on a long spiel about that, but I'm not going to get too Malcolm X right now.
But you're right, though.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak a little bit real quick. I think one of the pet peeves, I used to do this all the time with my daughter. When I would have my daughter, especially when she was first born, and I would be in the grocery store, it used to absolutely wreck my nerves when they would say, "Oh, you're such a good father. You have your daughter," and I'm like, "This is my daughter. Why wouldn't I be with her?"
Yep.
But again, that's that perception. It's optics of the father being in place in somewhere like a grocery store.
Yeah.
When the stereotype is men don't do those type of things. Husbands aren't in the grocery store, and when they are, then they're either with the mom or it's just the mom and the child. Right. So,
Yeah, I'll touch on it a little bit, man. I want to just give a shout out, man, because this one legendary coach and mentors taught me this, that 80% of perception is the truth. My boy, Big Rod taught me that one.
Yeah.
You know,
this is real.
You know, me, as I know, I'm heavily, you know, in my community, but also heavily transparent on social media. You know, I don't think it's enough transparent fathers showing that transition of where their perception in the community and what their perception is in media. A lot of times, you know, media has been so scrutinized that, you know, you don't know what to believe. And so it's a heavy hat to wear. And I see all of y'all wearing that same hat. Little do y'all know who y'all are in y'all perception in the community and who y'all are in media. It's the same person. That's why you're on this stage with me now. You know, it's not no switch up. It's not no code switch or nothing like that. Y'all are consistently who y'all are on and off the camera, and which is one of the main things that I like to promote. And you know, we just need more of, man. It's just so easy to find the negativity and stuff, man. But you know, I feel like all of y'all's platform give inspiration to other men if they just pay attention and just kind of put the hate down and just see what they're doing, because it takes a lot of courage, man, to jump out there and then to show you where you're in your best and also accept when you're in your flaws and stuff, because there's gonna be some criticizing of your judgment and how you move and stuff, man. But man, y'all been standing pretty 10-toes down on it, so
Appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Kudos.
The Hooker and Mac Show would like to thank our proud sponsor, Bowden Construction Management and Electrical Contractor, run by Mr. James Bowden. If you need services from licensed contractor for residential, commercial, or institutional areas, contact Mr. Bowden for information at 336-707-1769. Again, that is 336-707-1769. Or send an email to bowdenelectrical@yahoo.com.
This one's going to kind of rock you a little bit. Do men feel more pressure to provide, protect, or to nurture?
I'll take that one.
Man,
I think
that's a good one.
I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. It really comes from what they grew up in. You know, I think I'll give you an example with my wife. Of course, she wants me to provide and protect, but she needs more nurturing because she already had that from her father growing up. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a void that I was coming in filling. It was coming in and complementing what she had already grown up from and being able to add to it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So I think it just really comes from the background. You know, your background will tell you what you need.
Boy, y'all better take some notes
That
on this.
is- listen,
you better take some
about to-
notes,
Hey,
because
man,
a lot of guys ain't paying attention. A
put
lot of
something in
guys
the
ain't.
phone, man.
You're right about that, but I'm gonna speak to that a little bit, man. And I don't want to call it a generational curse, but you know how my father raised me, man. He was very militant,
Sure.
and he was what it was perceived back then was 100% man. You know, you don't show no emotion.
Right.
Like I knew my dad loved me, but it wasn't a lot of "I love you." It wasn't kissing in the household and things like that. And I remember when I first started dating my wife when she was just my girlfriend. You know, she would always want me to kiss on her and want me to love on her, and other than sex, right? I really didn't engage in that. And she used to ask me all the time, "Why don't you tell me you love me?" I said, "Why do I got to tell you I love you?" But again, it was just me not feeding in what she wants me to be, because her father was totally opposite. Her father hugged her. Her father loved on her. Her father kissed on her. And so she wanted that from me, man. But it was hard for me to grasp that. And I'm very open about it, man, that the way I grew up and the way she grew up, just in that culture environment, in that culture shock, in our first few years of marriage, we did have to go through, marriage counseling. We had to go through a little bit of therapy. And it opened my eyes to see a lot of things. And kind of like the error of my ways to understand that, yeah, I'm here to protect and provide, but I can also nurture as well. So, with that being said, and, trying to answer your question, it's hard because I think it depends on how, first of all, how a couple is and how they are together, and then how those two mates grew up together.
I know my boy got something.
Yeah, man. I think they to provide, to protect, and to nurture, they're all in that same. There are benefits from all of them, and so obviously, as a man, you want to make sure that you're able to afford the life that you want. You definitely want to have a rites of passage to the things that are under your umbrella. So you want to protect it. That nurturing piece. I have 2 daughters. Is very important. My wife they're teenagers now. My wife has really been pushing, hey babe, have you considered this? Because how they see you is what that's their standard, that's their blueprint. And so for me, I'm focused on all of them, but I'm really focused on that nurturing piece now. And I did it growing up with them because I didn't grow up with my father, so it was important that I had like intentional father time separate from my wife. So I would do like daddy-daughter walks. Now it's turned into daddy-daughter dates, and the dates go into, I remember my, not to belabor our conversation, but I remember my oldest at one point in time asked me, because they all wanted to do something different, I took everybody on a date separate from each other that same day. She said, Daddy, how did you do this? And I said, I started listening. She said, that's a lot. I said, it's worth it though. So one of them I took playing basketball, the other one we walked and did some other stuff, and then my wife, she wanted the big stuff, so we did her stuff last. But it's important to nurture that, man, because how they see you is it impacts their feelings, their emotions, and like you said, that therapy thing has been a very good help for a mirror, So kudos to you actually bringing that up.
Yeah, man, and that's some of the things that we got to realize, man, as black men, not only just in our marriages, we need that therapy. Yeah. And again, you talk about it, man. I think provide and protect, that's almost like a given. Yeah. And I think it's almost a challenge to be nurturing, because with the nurturing part, it's always that fine line of, am I nurturing or am I being soft? Right. Or am I being weak? Right. And showing vulnerability towards my woman, to maybe she's not going to think I'm a man. Right. So. Yeah.
Let me segue off of something, man. What do you think people assume about black men as dads?
That we're not in their life. I think that's still very stereotypical. I really do. I think a lot of times, I gave my example of being out. One thing that my daughter can always say, man, is that I'm her biggest cheerleader and I'm there for her all the time. And so, and even to this day, my daughter's a teenager, right? She's 14 and she runs track and does cheering and stuff like that. And I'm in the stands doing the mock cheers with her. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, because I'm secure in myself, as a man. But when they see that, they be like, "Oh man, your daddy loves you. Your daddy this," and I still get that praise, and I appreciate the praise because I know where it's coming from. But secondly, with that praise, I'm like, why is it still this way? Why can't I just be here and be very supportive? Because if it was my son playing football or basketball, that's a given. That's what a dad's supposed to be doing. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would, to piggyback off of what Rod said, my main thing is I used to not understand why people would praise me over something that I felt like I needed to be doing. Like, it's my children. Why I'm supposed to do this. My mother-in-law is one of my biggest cheerleaders, man. My wife's mom, obviously, and she would say, Travis, you're the standard for our family. That's a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm the standard of men. I'm the standard of men for you all's family. And when I see what she's comparing me to, no knock against anybody else, but it's kind of like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So when people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, it makes me, in y'all's eyes, it makes me look better. But I'm like, no, that's so backwards, man. So to say, to answer your question, I feel like it depends on who looks at us. as to what the expectation is. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, in my household, my daughters expect certain things. Their friends expect certain things. But if somebody doesn't know me and they see me in action, it may be a surprise to them based on their upbringing. Like, wait, you're with your girls? Wait, and there's no child support? It's not your weekend, is it? You know?
That's wild.
And I think that these conversations are necessary because it can actually set the bar for some of our other guys that may be in those predicaments, man.
Right.
And, you know, respectfully.
Right.
Yeah.
I think another perception of black fathers is that we lack the empathy. You know what I mean? Because traditionally, I know as far as me, and I still have a lot of work to do when it comes to, raising my boys, is the fine line of teaching emotional intelligence versus what it's like to be a man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like I didn't have anybody to converse with me over how I feel or what I should feel or how to navigate how I feel. It's more so about how to deal with it. Those are two different things on how I deal with it and navigating me through how I feel about certain things. So I think that is one of the perceptions of black fathers is just like, I'm the security guard, I'm the protector, but I lack emotional intelligence and empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. One of my things as perception as a father, man, I think that the black man is misperceived as valuing his family more than he values himself. I think that, they already know the perception of just a black man carrying all the loads and dealing with their community. Even some black women may recognize that, hey, I know you going through a lot. You looking for an exit, It could be very tempting and very scrutinized as how the black man values his family. They may think, oh, you got kids and stuff. He's looking for an exit, or he's looking for a weakness and stuff. And especially as a person that's involved in the community, and how we have to say outside. Like I can be outside, and the perception is just because I'm outside does not mean I don't value my family.
Right.
It means I like to go have with your friend and be outside.
Give me 2 seconds.
Hey, Dad, I need to hang out. This is my balance and
Sure.
stuff, man. And if some people, I respect that some people can't manage that, but I am a person that can manage that.
Right.
And that's misconception of some black fathers. Like, hey, man, let that man breathe. Just going back into another set, I keep it going, man. How do becoming a husband change how people view you?
Oh no, that's
I'll jump out there, man.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. The boys, everybody did not assume that I would get married so fast. I got married right at 30. Right at 29, 30. I'm going on 15 years shout out this year. July 31st.
Kudos,
I know the
shout
date.
out, shout out. There you go.
It took me 5 years to remember, but I'm here now. I'm here now.
You
Yeah, but just it caught the team, the boys, and my support system. Totally off guard. Like we really doing it. One person is. It's an elevation and stuff. It's a transition from who I was to who we are now.
Right.
And anybody got any feedback on that or?
Well, I got a little bit. Mine was a little bit opposite. I think all of my homeboys at the time knew, Kalisha, my girl, K-Dot, shout out my girl, K-Dot, that I was going to end up marrying her, right? So they knew, right. Yeah. So they knew that. It was the opposite of it, dude. I tell everybody this story and they think I'm joking, dude. I had, I had my share of, females in my past, and dude, they were upset. I mean, when I say so upset, they used to roll up to my house.
Wow.
And I had one. I had a couple of them cuss me out because I told them that I didn't want to be monogamous, right?
Wow.
And so, even on my wedding day, I tell everybody the story, man. On my wedding day, I probably had like at least 6 females who I had dealings with showed up on because they couldn't believe that I was getting married. Yeah, and you know how the fellas is. I had one of my exes, and they was in the stands, and man, you better say something like nah. Tell her don't do that.
Wow.
That's more, but yeah, man. So we got that, man. But yeah, man. So it was a little different for me, man. But I will say this, man. I absolutely love being a husband. I really do. I think it's a sense of responsibility for me that I think I needed as a man.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where I didn't need to be single. Trust me, I didn't. And I got married at 25. Trust me, I did not need to be single. And so again, I thank God for my wife. I thank God for her patience that she had in me. Allowing me to be who I am, even to this day, allowing me to, because she showed a lot of patience and a lot of grace with me, man. Because she saw the potential in me that I probably didn't see in myself. So she stuck with it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, man, my guys, we were all young. So I was like one of the first ones to get married, set the tone, set the pace. But the thing was, I didn't know what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. I just knew growing up what I didn't see. So I wanted to become what I didn't see, man. And I knew television. You had the Cosbys, you had Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, you had all the but that was TV, man. I don't remember seeing a lot of that in my community, man. So I said, you know what? In order to become what you didn't have, you got to do something you didn't do.
And it was like the right thing to do.
And so it felt like the right thing to do, with a lot of prayer and understanding what the alternative was. I was like, I want to be that. I knew I could have easily been a player and all that. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, man. Let's set the bar. I knew I wanted kids to add value to society, so I said, let's try it. And it's actually worked, man. It's worked. It's been tough. It's been real. It's been exciting. It's been it's helped me to evolve a lot as a man. And so what it did for me, what marriage has done for me, is it's taught me responsibility. It's taught me ownership. It's taught me that it's very much okay to be vulnerable when you have a safe space to be vulnerable in. So shout out to the wifey, appreciate it. She didn't tell me to say that, but hopefully after she sees that, I'll get some points, man.
We keep it count, baby. We keep it count.
You got to, man.
I need some points. I'm at the doghouse as we speak.
Hey.
Shout out wifey.
There you go. Get your couple.
But what I'd say is, I think becoming a husband added value to me. Like as men, we learn so many things, and we're talented in our own outright.
Yeah.
But having a wife, it's not to degrade their role at all by any means, but you have a in-home personal assistant that is checking you on accountability, where you fall short, and she's gonna look at this.
They're doing what?
They go check me on accountability for sure. So, and me saying this, my wife's gonna say, "Well, you could have said that 5 hours ago," and then we would, okay, whatever, we get there. But honestly, it adds value. It brings out your potential. It maximizes what you can actually be in the community, be in this world. And also, think about it, like employability. Like when somebody is, if you're going for a job, they look at you, like if you're married, they look at you as like you have stability, you have
man, that is so real,
and you have structure. So those are three things that are very employable. I know that's kind of how I look at it, when I'm kind of looking for maybe a coach or looking for a position. I'm like, okay, well, I need to make sure I highlight this on my resume, have a picture of family, and have structure on how my household is, so they can understand who I really am.
You got to end this summary statement on your resume. Such and such, my wife and 2 children.
Yeah,
with their name. Right. Let them know I got responsibility and accountability at house.
Or start off with it. Either way, it's on there.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah, man. Just to top it off, man. Husband is a title that is earned.
For sure.
That's a title. It ain't given.
No, it's not.
That's a title that is earned. Respect to all y'all boys, man.
And I will say this, the thing about the husband, I think a lot of men need to really do their research on that, because again, when you talk about going into something that we think is right, are you ready to be a husband? Because I know a lot of men that go in there and they jump in there and they want the husband title, and they don't. They wanted the title, but they don't want the responsibility like we talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that's something that we also need to engage in, to have that conversation and dialogue with men as they look to get married.
And I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, do your
quick,
thing.
If we can take this to a spiritual level as well,
Every time.
speaking for myself, I received ridiculous amount of blessings. Like, it was things that I was hoping for and wishing for, praying for, and it was just happening. I'm like, is this what it's like being a husband?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
new houses and new cars
Yeah.
and stuff that it was just like, okay, I need to save, I need to do this. It was things that's just happening back to back to
Pouring
back.
to you.
It almost changes your perspective too, man. Like you can identify, you can understand both sides of the fence, like why people do certain things, I get now why people get married. I understand too why people get divorced. I see it and I understand it, and I respect both sides because I get it, you know. But being a husband for me has said you need to push yourself, you need to stretch yourself, stop being lazy. Come on, be accountable to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sure. You know, show up.
So people don't want to hear that. Some people, hey, like I said, man.
So the one thing, whenever I apply for jobs or I'm in interview mode, they'll ask me, so how is this going to work with your at-home schedule? You know, and when they hear my answers, because I'm always very candid, they're like, okay, we get it. I can tell the light bulbs like kind of turning on because they'll say he's patient. You know, he doesn't lack empathy. He tries to be accountable. He wants to know what's next, you know, because there has to be some type of structure, some type of schedule. So I think for me, it shows them that without me having to say too much, you know. And then once I add my character and everything, I feel like that adds value to the conversation. So I'm glad you said that. I asked that. Appreciate that.
Let's segue out to, just community service and the accountability. I know we talked about that quite a bit. The importance of being visible and accountable in your community.
I think that's very important. I always try to do things, whether it's I used to volunteer coach. I always do find time to volunteer into things. I'm in our Gate City alumni chapter with my alma mater, and so I try to do those volunteer opportunities because I want people to be able to see not only myself but my family. It's something I incorporate with my daughter because number one, it teaches giving back, right? So I'm teaching my daughter to make sure that she gives back because it's people less fortunate or just helping out others and being that stewardship and self-servant. But again, when people see us, again, I'm not doing it for clout, but I want people to understand that, hey, Rob is in this community. You know, when Hampton Homes does their annual cookout, their things, we go there and we get invited there. And I didn't grow up in Hampton Homes, but when they see us, we get so much love. And because it's the things that we do for our community, whether that's helping out, whether that's feeding, whether that's picking up the trash, doing those particular things, man. So I think that's huge, man. Is just having that form of service in our community, especially as black men too.
Think about this, guys. You can just think about it. Do you remember when you had your first black male teacher? Right?
Black male teacher, that's crazy because I think in my entire life I may have had 2 black male teachers.
Okay.
But I remember my first one, yeah.
So for me, I think mine, I was 12 years old, 6th grade, and then, of course, my 10th grade year at Dudley High School. Those 2 men still have steered my training, my way of thinking. I remember one of them would come to class, and he would just candidly talk about his marriage, man. Like, hey, let's hurry up and get this out the way, man, because I got to go home to wifey, And I was like, he was young, man, and I was like, man, when I get old enough, I want to be that, So I think it's important because it can change your trajectory or change somebody else's trajectory when they see you, And I said earlier, I don't recall seeing, I don't know if I said a lot or some couples or people men that were married in the community. I saw the ones I did see, they changed how I viewed. So I didn't see a lot, but I wanted to become what I didn't see. But back to you, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All good, man. Y'all dripping.
Yeah.
Just to pick up off of that, I think with so many distractions that lead our community left instead of where they should be going, I think pillars like us being visible in the community is definitely needed. Being a head football coach and before being offensive coordinator, I'm in a leadership position. So it's like one of the things, I'll give you an example. One of the things is I encourage coaches having their kids at practice. Now, some people can look at it as like, okay, that's a distraction. Now, it could be a distraction, but we need those players to see us as fathers. We need those players to have those touch points because we don't know what their home looks like. We don't know how many interactions they have with, okay, is this what a black man is supposed to do as a father? You know what I mean? Is this what a black man is supposed to do as a husband? You know what I mean? So giving them those opportunities, like my wife pulls up at the school unannounced all the time. You know, when we have events, like I'll try my best to have my kids and my wife present just so they can kind of see that. Same with, I encourage that with the other guys on staff that, hey, man, bring your families. We're going to have a community day here pretty soon in July. And hopefully the 27th at First Lebanon Baptist Church. But, so...
let us know, bro.
So, that'll be an opportunity for us to get our families together, get the players there, get the coaches there, the community there, and just kind of continue to build. Because, we're bridge builders. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't have any touch points, how do they know what to be?
Right. Yeah, man. I can say you're a chain breaker, brother. Yeah, for real, man. Because all my experiences as a coach, and even with me being involved in athletics at collegiate level and stuff, I never experienced a coach that had a really good relationship. Until you just said something, that the stresses that a lot of coaches go, they all the way in, but then they have to go home. Or they divorce, or dealing with so much because they just keeping that separate, but just create a safe environment for your family to grow. I think you'll have a lot more success, and just team morale, just coaching stability and stuff. When they know they can come in and the coach is not going to judge me because he's insensitive on how he's been traumatized as a coach, and he think what it takes to win. No, you got to win in all aspects of life, and I think that's very important as a coach, as a father, and in the role of a mentor. Because I mean, just what we talked about with the ball and Dion. Now, I love them, good examples, but I never see their wives. I never see their wives. They're invested in their son, but why can't you just do both? And I see that in you and stuff, man.
So it's so funny. I was gonna mention to Zay. So me and Zay used to coach together, right? And with A&T, we used to coach flag football in our travel basketball teams. And Zay probably remember this when he first got into coaching. My wife was always around, right? And so, you saw Rob, you saw Kalisha, K-Dot. And we used to hit the roads. My wife used to travel, and I used to always. Now, how many times I used to say this in the very beginning? I said, "Zay, dude, bring your wife. Bring your wife." And it wasn't like anything like telling him for him to stay out of trouble or anything like that. Because when we went, it was strictly business, right? But again, it was that optics. I was coaching males and he was coaching females. I wanted them to see, from a male perspective, him coaching females, that hey, my wife is here and she's a part of us too. Especially and this, y'all both know this, y'all coaches, the sacrifices that our wives make when we're coaching. Because when we're in it, we're in it. And a lot of times and I know you know this, hell, you might have practice or a game, and then soon you come home, you ready to watch film. Like you already got in your mind, I'm about to watch film. And Lord knows, don't let it be a loss. A loss is always way worse than a win. You come from a loss, you probably don't want to be touched or anything. Like, don't bother me for a couple of days. So you got to be able to shadow those particular moments like that. Not only for your wife, to let your wife know that she is still valued and she's a part of the holistic view of your coaching perspective. But again, it's showing those particular athletes. I love you saying that about those families being able to be a part of it and come to practice. That absolutely should be the case. And it's not going to be a distraction. Right. Yeah, it wasn't.
It's community, man. You don't know what seeds are being planted,
I know we got a lot of coaching energy up here, but outside of coaching, man, I want to tell you one of my most prideful thing of being visible in the community is the thing on PTO meetings and awards day ceremony. I'm on them, bro. I'm on them. I'm on them, man. And anytime I get an opportunity to celebrate my kids, I try my best. And I know it's a hard sacrifice. I know all the parents can't make it out there all the time, man, but I really take pride in just seeing them celebrate on the stage, and I'm going to shout them out. I'm going to say their name. I'm not going to say, woo-woo. No, I'll just say their name.
I embarrass my daughter all the time. She already know.
I stand up. I dance.
I know. Kennedy.
My son, he had a 5th grade trip to Camp Haynes I forgot what the city is, but it's out there by West Stokes County. And it's like a resort. It's in the mountains, and they do like this overnight thing. And it's only one night. They got camping. They got they make s'mores. They do a whole bunch of different adventures, rock climbing, all that type of stuff. And one of the things that I was like, I'm a new head coach. I'm gonna be missing 2 days of workouts. So I was like, babe, I don't know. Maybe year 2. And she was like, okay, is he gonna be in 5th grade next year? So I'm just like, all right, this could be something that could really be memorable for him. So we went to there, and honestly, man, he was so excited, like his interaction. Oh, this is my dad. He coaches, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's one of those things that not only him, but his classmates who, didn't probably have that opportunity because of work and all of that stuff to kind of see. I think it was great.
Yeah, it's powerful, man. It's powerful, man. It's definitely powerful, man. Speaking about that, man, I want to talk to y'all about going back home, man. So, as a husband and a father, what do you think is your representation that you owe back to your hood, to your block?
That's
They
a good
say
question.
I don't go back, but let me tell you about it.
There you go.
No, man, honestly, it's I think even if you don't go back physically, being visible in your works is, with social media, you can reach anybody.
Right.
At the press of a thumb, you know what I mean? So I'm originally from Fayetteville, 221B Tiffany Court, Rose Hill Garden Apartments.
Oh, you
All the way.
Vietnam. One block away from the Merc.
Back in the day, you didn't want to go on the Merc. No, sir. Don't go to McDonald's on the Merc by 11 p.m. You might not come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Stay away from there.
So I got a lot of family that still lives in Fayetteville, and I do come home to, see my grandmother and see my aunts and see my cousins and everything. But from there and here, I think them being able to see kind of what I do in the community and making it very apparent, I think that does a lot of good. But it's not the end all be all. There is some work to still be done. Here was more so when we moved up here, we were in the suburbs. So, that's taken care of. I see more hardship where I worked at Dudley and, on the east side of Greensboro that needs some attention. And even though I'm at Northeast, I'm still throughout the East. I'm still everywhere in Greensboro that I needed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's cool. I think one of the things for me is just taking away that, just being very viewed for someone positive in our neighborhood from a small town from Plymouth that, can come out and can necessarily make it. Now, you could say, hey, getting married and being a husband and father, anybody can do that. But I think it's the positive look from that as well. So, mostly everybody I'm down there, I was, again, I'm not bragging anything, but I was kind of a big fish in a small pond down there. Small town, one elementary, one middle, one high school, right? So when I go down there, it was literally everybody knew everybody. And so when I go down there, it's a form of respect. So when people see me, they're like, oh, Robert Jr. and blah, blah, blah. So we talk, but I ingratiate myself with our community, and I also want my daughter to see where I grew up. And my wife is from the same place, and so when they see us, it's a positive outlook. And hopefully, you can reach one, teach one, right? It might be someone that's trying to get out and something like that. So I try to really use myself as an applicable resource for a young man or a young female to want to talk to them and just talk to them about it. So when they see us, seeing me and my wife together along with my child, that does something for them versus just me going home. Yeah.
I think for me, and I grew up in Greensboro, in the southeast region, and growing up, I didn't think it was a hood. I thought we were very well off. I felt like we had a lot, and I think my mom did that intentionally. I think she made sure that we were involved in so much that we saw but didn't see. We were aware, but we weren't impacted negatively. And so I think for me now, being a mentor, one thing I try to do with my guys specifically is, and the young ladies, is eliminating excuses. Yeah, Dad wasn't there for me either. I get it. Let's have that conversation. You don't understand, Mr. Travis. You don't understand, Mr. Moore. Why you say that? Because you see where I am right now? Right. I said, you kidding me? I'm still dealing with the little boy in me. Every time I mentor,
Man.
I think about the 6-year-old in me. You know what I'm saying? So I see myself, and it gives me a fire, man. It's like, you got to say it. You got to do it. You got to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that give back and just that being that real person, letting them see that vulnerable person to an extent, and also challenging yourself to understand where they are. Give them grace, show that level of empathy, because they're seeing stuff we might not have seen at that age, but they're dealing with it at a faster pace too. So I think it's kind of saying, take me out the equation for now and let's deal with them, So showing up,
Yeah, that come from the east side, MacTown, GA, East Side Out Loud, man, Raider Nation, Macon, Georgia, man. It's Bibb County. It's a very heartfelt place, man. I grew up middle class, but we was all together, like at so many different levels, the hood, the middle class, even the well-off. We all found, our community center as a great harvest place to, just to build relationships and stuff, man. Some of those relationships at all different levels, when I come back home and stuff, and the way I just represent, I still got the same number from the beginning.
Same.
And that says I still got the same number from the beginning. If you got the number, it's the same number. And just when I engage, I don't feel like I need to avoid this. Sometimes you can get to a certain level, like I don't got time to be fooling around, or I don't, like if we have an opportunity to engage and you see me, like I'm gonna speak to you just like the first time we opened the book the first time. And it's up to you if how you want to represent yourself. If you're still thinking about some stuff in the past or maybe some mistakes you done made or something like that, I'm going to lead with the energy that I want you to receive. Like, and that's just how I walk through life now, man. And I feel that responsibility. And people congratulate me like, hey, man, I love your beautiful family. I love what you're doing. And, you're showing it, man. It's real inspiring, man. Keep it up. And, it means a lot, So whenever I get an opportunity to go back home, I try to embrace it, and I always try to like, hey, this could be you too, man. You just gotta lock in, man. If you need help or you need advice, it's gonna be you rap with Zay, man. I'm gonna cut you deep. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna cut straight to you now. My friends, they hate and love me at the same time because I'm gonna be a real friend. I'm just not gonna inebriate what you are doing wrong. I'm going to say like, hey man, whenever you're ready, you can stop doing this, or I'll call it out, and they'll appreciate that because I want them to grade. They don't want them to value me like that too. I want them to give me feedback like that too. And they have my circle. They have told me like, hey man, time to. You don't even be out here, man. Let's try and take it in. I know you like I mentioned earlier, you gotta be outside, but I don't shut it down. Like it's levels to how you got to manage yourself, but it takes perspective of your friends, and if you don't go back to the bottom or the top and get that perspective, then you will just always be stagnant and open for failures. And I have had some guys that have came at me. I done went back home, and some people came with some disrespect before. It happens. It happens. You can be like, sometimes, hey, man, you just, people could be intoxicated or just say they feeling and how you receive it. Right. As a man, how do y'all deal with disrespect from another man?
Well, I'm at a point now where, I don't really care what someone thinks or says to me as long as that disrespect doesn't come towards my child or my wife. I'm good. And then I always got to remember that it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
And sometimes the ability to humble yourself to understand that it's bigger than me, and I don't have to go out and, do something that could jeopardize my job, my career, whatever the case may be, to be able to prove that, I'm not a punk or I'm a man or you disrespecting me or something like that. So it took me a while to get there. It really did, but I think for me, I'm there, and as long as I'm a safe haven, man. Again, words can't hurt me, and so you say something about me, man. Just don't touch my wife or don't talk about my kid. We're good.
Yeah, I think I just experienced it this past weekend. I think my wife has always been nervous because she knows how I think, and she's like, I know you'll say certain things, and it can come with a great gesture, but it may be offensive to other people. So I think I try to channel my energy. I don't like disrespect. I don't. I always tell my wife, there's a better way of handling that. But so sometimes I will vocalize and address it right then and there, especially if it's another man. Like, I'm like, bro, really, that's what we're doing? Yeah. I get it, but you're not going to do that, Right. So I will check it immediately, but I also try to understand why that's the case. Like, that's their lens, that's their mirror. This is what they see, and this is how they act. So I try to say and think what they say doesn't manage how I eat. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna. It doesn't pay my bills.
Right.
It's definitely not going to help me engage with my wife better. It's going to frustrate me a little bit. So how far am I willing to allow that boundary to be overstepped? Because I can still create that boundary. Like, oh, okay, you said that. That's cool. Let's keep it moving.
Right.
Right. But it's not going to dictate my next move.
Right.
Well, me, I'm praying for the patience of you two brothers. I'm still, I'm not all the way healed.
You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason, my boy. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I still got that. We can catch a fade if we need to.
Right now.
Fades, what I mean? But, what you guys are saying is definitely, probably how it should be handled, because there's so much to lose. And there's so much work that we've kind of done on a community aspect for it to be watered down and dismissed because you've taken me to an element to where I'm no longer living what I'm telling you to be. You know what I'm saying? So I fight that paradox all the time, but it's very tough. Disrespect is especially from a woman, from my wife. If my wife doesn't really disrespect me like that.
Yeah.
She may say something. I'm like, oh, that kind of cut a little bit. Like, you got me. But from if it was any other woman or female, that's not even worth my time.
We just talking about.
Yeah, that ain't my time. I'm just going. Okay, well, I don't claim you on my taxes. I don't really care too much what you say. But from another man, it's playing football and that gladiator mentality and just. Ego sometimes gets
tuning down the testosterone a little bit.
I'm telling you,
it's tough though. It is tough.
Tough.
It is tough, man.
I'm praying for that patience though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, he'll get there, brother. He'll get there. And the thing is, I think a lot of times when you see stupidity and idiocy, sometimes you got to let them be at bay. When we talk about something to lose, as long as you've been in the teaching system, you're a head football coach. Yeah. Because again, if something pops off,
it's coming back to you.
If it goes in the media, they say nothing about that person. Yep. Head football coach at Northeast Guilford.
For sure.
That's the first thing it's going to read, and it can only take 5 minutes to ruin 20 or 30 years of a good reputation, outstanding reputation that you have built over time. And I think that's a lot of times for me, that's the perspective I try to gain. And sometimes, right, when we're talking about manhood, being the other man is just walking away.
Absolutely.
Just walking away. Yeah, somebody telling me, you can do X, Y, Z to me, man. Bruh, okay. Listen, I'm 46. Yeah. It's all good. And the first thing I agree when I say, you know what, bruh, you probably can. Right. I'm good with that. Because, again, as long as you're not touching or disrespecting my wife or child, right. I'm not. Listen, I'm not bragging or anything, but I'm too successful from where I am now, from where I started, to let someone ruin that for me.
In a few seconds.
Yep, in a few seconds.
That's all it takes. Yeah.
And I think about my kids, man. I'm like, what would that do to them? Like, daddy does all this stuff for self-gratification, say, oh, you ain't going to check me like that. I'm a man, blah, blah, blah. And then their life is ruined because of something a decision I made.
Right, because the decision you make impacts everyone else.
Everything. Yeah. So, good question, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm torn. I'm not even gonna lie, man. That's when me and Tone got past, man. We played ball and stuff together, man. Flag, and one of the main things I respect and gain value for him is just I love when somebody shows loyalty, and when it came down to whatever, if you was on his team, he had you.
For sure.
I was talking about, it could be like somebody kick some dirt on your shoes. He was like, "Hey, bro, hey, partner," you know, but you know, it's just, you know, just loyalty like that, and just having a passion and stuff, man. A lot of people don't respect that type of energy, and I'm a big on energy. I lead with respect.
Yeah.
If somebody has a conflict with me, I want to know, how did we get those two signals mixed up and stuff, man? Because you're just passionate about something that, you know, you believe in. I want to learn your perspective. How did we get to this point and stuff, man? And a lot of times that helps me out with my conflict resolution. I'm not looking to check you. I'm looking to understand, like, whatever trauma or whatever got you to that position, so that I can understand, like, all right, I respect that.
Now you know this one when you 15 years ago.
No,
right?
it wasn't me.
So just say you grew, bro.
I grew.
You talking about catching a fade. He used to be ready. I say, yo, chill out, bro. Like, that's not what we doing right now.
But one of the things I realized, that life keeps going on.
Yeah.
And as me raising my son, it has been time where he has had conflict with other boys and girls. And I want him to understand, your goal is not to walk to the other room. I want you to walk in that room. You know, I want you to understand, how did we get to that point? You know, because that's, if I can teach him how to manage those type of relationships at a young age, then I can teach him how not to be a liar, how not to be a punk. You know, how not to be, you know, disloyal. And it's such a slippery slope. And those people that grow up like that is more so from trauma at a young age, and it's just so much easier to walk away or not to have the conversation. Yeah. And I'm like, or you could be on the other end, like, I'm for all the smoke, you know. But then, you know, like, my son's a small guy. He's not big like me. But my grandfather always told me, a big dude like you, man, you get in conflict, they're going to shoot you. Yeah. They ain't going to be trying to fight with you, so you got to figure it out. Yeah. And then, you know, from where I'm from, I did see some people get shot. And I was just like, you know, I don't want no parts of that. Right. So I can understand that, man. But I definitely appreciate that dialogue, fellas, man. We've been cutting up, man. We've been giving some dope gems, man. But as guests up here on these yellow couches, Men Amongst Men, it's your opportunity to write in the book of the man law. So I want y'all to take a moment. If anything that y'all want to put out there that y'all think is a standard of that we could carry on and put in the book, as a standard that we could all say, like, hey, that's man law. You gotta respect it.
Man, I'm gonna go to something that's basic, right? I think it's man law that, number one, if I come into your household, I can't just come in and just acknowledge you. I have to acknowledge you, not only you, your wife, and your kids.
Yes, sir.
Before I do anything.
Yes, sir.
I can't just come to your house and say, hey, Travis, what's up, bro, blah, 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 start a whole conversation, let's step outside right quick. And your wife's kids is playing right there in front of me. Like, that's no-go. Yeah. And so I think as men, that's one of the things that we need to do. And I think another thing is, men, unless it's given the green light to say, hey, man, it's cool. If I got to have a conversation with your wife, I'm not going to text your wife. You know what I'm going to do? I'm either going to text you and say, hey, can you ask your wife this? Or I'm going to text you and her together. You know what I'm saying? And then it get to a point, like sometimes he texts me one time. I bet, dude, we good. You can text Kalisha. You don't got to pull me in. He said the same thing to my wife. But the first time I text his wife, bruh, Carrington and Brooke. Because I don't need anything coming up. I'm like, hold up, man. Because and again, it could be something that, something very harmless where, say she falls asleep and forgets. Yeah. Pop up, he said, Rob doing texting, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's I said one thing, but that's two things.
You taught me that.
The man and then the text messages, man, that's real. That's real for me.
I got one.
All right, brother.
I think being truthful to another man that you respect. You know what I mean? Like, if it's somebody that I fool with, I can't lie to you. No matter if it's something that I don't want you to know, or whether I feel like you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I have a level of respect for you, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or I want to tell you.
Right.
It's just, I just feel like that's law.
That's law.
Yeah.
That's law, man.
Yeah, and I think another thing, man, if a man is with his significant other, woman, what have you, and she's dogging him or whatever, I'm not gonna sit there and agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Even if she's right about something, I'm not gonna tear a man down in front of a woman or anybody else. If I can't uplift a man, I don't need to say anything. Now if I have a if there's something that I need to say to that gentleman, I don't think we need to do it in public. I think it's always good to do stuff one-on-one, unless, it's something where you need a third party to kind of be there as a mediator. But I think out of respect, like, no man wants to be broken down, especially in front of another person. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is our duty, man, to pour into other men in a way that they can still feel respected but honored and still feel like they've been challenged at the same time.
Man.
Yeah, and I know, Zay, and I'm not trying to take this again. I'm using my experience for this, man. And I think we had a previous conversation about this before we kind of went on air, but we were just talking about just kind of doing check-ins. Yeah, just doing check-ins and like, hey, bro, you good? I went through a lot of stuff. My wife suffered a stroke. And I had so many of I was actually overwhelmed at, so many people. It's one thing for females to do it right, because it's almost like, we talk about a given. It's almost a given that the females will reach out and be like, Rob, you good? But the amount of male friends that I had reach out to me, Xavier was one of them, just reaching out and say, Rob, you good? Do you need anything? You need dinner? I'm going to shout out to my boy Drank, man. When everything first happened, the first thing he told me, he said, Rob, I got dinner for you tonight. And that was huge, man. And those little small stuff that we don't even like think about it. And something simple as one of my homeboys hit me up, and we go to Jake's or Kickback Jack's, and we just spend an hour time, may have a couple of brews, just chilling and kicking before I got to go back home, and then kind of deal with everything that I got to deal with in my personal life, right? Because everybody got something personal going on. I'm not the only person that's going through something. That 30 to 45 to 60 minutes was absolutely huge for me. And so I appreciated everyone that reached out. I know I got Xavier right here, but everyone that reached out, man, that is huge. And it just gave me a lot of perspective on where we at is, for my inner circle. And then also how we do need to, you talk about uplifting, men, uplifting and checking in on us, man. Make sure we're okay. Because us, we're not gonna say we're not okay. We always do. Hey, man, you good? Yeah, bro, I'm good. I'm straight. But guess what? I'm smiling. I'm smiling on the outside, and my exterior look good. Interior, bro, I'm hollering like, bro, I just need some form of relief. And unfortunately for us, that's the way we built. So it's easy to say, hey, man, if you need something, let me know. No, bro, just start doing it. Just do it. Don't text me and say, do you need anything? Rob, we're going to such and such. Let's go have a couple of beers. Right. I got you for an hour. That hour is like 4 or 5 hours. Because at the end of the day, as a man, I ain't trying to be with you 4 or 5 hours anyway. So 30 minutes to an hour is good enough. If it's just us, bro, that's just good enough. But I need that. And by the time I'm so refreshed and re-energized when I come back home. So, doing that.
It's good, man.
I got one on a lighter note.
Let's do it.
Like on a lighter note, this kind of beyond us at this point. We're married. I think man law is dirty macking. Dirty macking. So whenever if I was ever a conversation that I would have with a female, she's talking about another gentleman.
Let's go to
I'm not gonna say, oh man, he does what?
Yeah,
right.
Man, well, this is what I would do.
Put it out there, man.
No, man, you can't. Do
it's
that.
contagious.
At the end of the day, your job is to give her perspective on how we think. Because 9 times out of 10, we are in unison a lot with how we think about relationships and our experience with women. You know what I mean? So it's never gonna be a situation where if I was in this ain't nothing current. Again, this ain't nothing current.
Yeah, this is just for law. This is just for law. This is for the law, man. This is just for law now. This is just for law.
This is man law. Like in this situation where I have a conversation with a female and she's talking about somebody that she's dealing with, and it's something that is an eye-raising situation. I may give the perspective of maybe he's thinking about this, or maybe you need to think about have this conversation. Did you think about this? Did you think about that? It's never going to be a situation with me where I'm going to say, oh man, that's crazy.
Right.
No, man, this is what I would do. He needs to be. Man. No, man, that's man law.
You gotta stop.
You got to stop.
You gotta stop, man. They gotta stop.
Boy, my boy said Dirty Mac.
Dirty
Hey, they real though, man. That's what
yeah.
I mean. Like even as a married man, you know, you just like you trying to help elevate your team.
Yeah.
And, you know it. Like I said, I told you I cut you deep. If you my boy, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you that was hate.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know right now.
Yeah.
They were like, what? Not yeah. Just clear line. It ain't no hot or cold. That was hate, man. But you know, I appreciate the gems, fella, man. Let me get us out of here, man. Yo, man, I appreciate y'all guys, man. Definitely, everybody's up here. Definitely welcome back. There's gonna be plenty more conversations to be had, man. I do want to give this opportunity, man, for you can shout out whatever you need to shout out, man. Whatever type of message you want to leave them with, man. Go ahead and knock it out.
Coach, take over there.
All right.
Oh, well, you know,
Speech.
well, you know, we're going through renovations with my stadium starting in October, but we will have 3 home games. We play Eastern Alamance second week of the season. I'll have dates on my social media. My social media is The Real Tone Hall on Instagram, Antonio Hall on Facebook. We have Eastern Alamance followed up by we'll be on the road at West Oaks, and then we'll have Dudley at home right after that, and then we'll have Southern Durham right after that. So 3 juggernauts back to back to back. That, you know, I think the atmosphere will be playoff like. You know, so be on the lookout for that. I'll have those dates on my social media. The Real Tone Hall. We've got Community Day coming up, hopefully July the 27th at First Lebanon Baptist Church on High Cone Road. Come on out. You know, it's sponsored by NC Healthy Blue.
Okay.
So they'll have a booth set up to kind of give you information on health and give you information on just what to look for that you may not already know.
And for me, of course, is social media. Facebook is Travis Reynard Moore, Reynard Moore. Instagram is, and all the other platforms is more focused. I'll say this. Regardless of all the things that God has opened up the door for me to be able to be a part of as a person and definitely a man, if you're out there, if you're listening, find time to take time for yourself, get a self-care regimen, realize that you owe you. So be the best version of yourself, whatever it looks like. If it's, I don't know what your religious status is, but whatever that is, believe in that. Have some framework as far as a community of people who you can confide in. And I'll say that you owe yourself the opportunity to grow. So give yourself grace to grow. And hopefully you'll be a better version of yourself tomorrow than you were today.
And just talk about me, kind of my handle is McRob62 for Instagram and Twitter. Robert L. McNair on Facebook. And the thing I just want to just talk about is kind of just piggyback on what you talk about. Like, you want to be better than you were yesterday. And I think always striving to be that better person each and every day is something that you really need to do for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Men and women alike. And my second thing is, you guys know I'm all about Aggie Pride. I'm going to promote those Aggies. Individual tickets, homecoming tickets, Aggie
go.
Eagle, everything go on sale August 4th.
August 4th.
At 8 a.m. Not midnight, 8 a.m. So make sure you get online and get those tickets. Because don't call me asking for a homecoming tickets. It ain't going to happen.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. But, you know, just to sum it up, man, our kids don't need our money. They need our movement. We out, baby.